Okay, let's talk about the progression of your grades. So in grade 10, you graphed something. Do you remember what it was? Okay, don't need to write this down. This is what you get in grade 10. What shape does it make when I physically graph it? It makes a line. Yeah. Okay. Grade 11. Who knows what we graphed? Hopefully you remember, because it's a square. Yeah, we graphed x squareds. Do you remember what shape it made? We've done this.
U.
It makes a U shape. Parabola. Oh, yes, we did that. Do you remember? So, in grade 10, how did you figure out how to maneuver on your line, how to make points? What did you always do? Slope. And slope was a division of what? Rise over run. And that's how you decided to go from like that point to that point or whatever, right? How did we decide how to maneuver on a parabola? So like, how did I make points like that? The chart thingy? There was a pattern? Over and up? 1 over, 1 up, 2, 4, 3, 9. That's all the things you've learned about graphing to date. I don't want to scare you, but in grade 12, we graph x cubed, we graph x force, hits x-axis, yeah. Okay, so graphing a line, graphing a parabola. All right, let's see what we have. So this is our notes. It wasn't me.
I know. We know who it was.
Okay. I saw it yesterday and I'm like, was that person meaning to leave it here?
Yes, he did.
Okay. So we know this from grade 10, where m is the, we just talked about it, m is the slope. And we talked about slope being a rise over run. And we didn't talk about this one yet, but what was the b? Yeah, the y-intercept. Okay, so that's some background stuff you need. Now here's some other background stuff you need. You have 4 inequality symbols. These are all the inequality symbols you could possibly have. How do you say it, this one, in words? Less than. How do you say this in words?
Less than or equal to.
This would be
More than or equal to.
greater than or equal to. And then this one is greater than. Okay, so you need to know all those symbols. Okay, if you are less than something compared to less than or equal to something, could this work? Does that work? No. Does this work? Yes. So this, you can't be exactly there. This, you can be exactly, because you could be equal to something. Here, you are not allowed to be equal to something, right?
5 and 5, wouldn't it just be equal sign? 5.
you're less than or equal to. That's true. I'm just asking you if that's true or not. Okay, here we go. That's the background knowledge. I'm going to start with the y-intercept. So what is the y-intercept? 5. So I drew it. Y, the y-axis, right? The y-axis, up and down. What's the slope number? 1. It's 1x. So I need to write it as a fraction, so therefore 1 is going to be 1 over 1. So I'm going to go to my point. I'm going to go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. And I'm not going to draw a line yet because we have to talk about something. But that's how the line is going to be formed. Okay, here's my question. Looking at this inequality symbol, am I allowed to be equal to this line?
No.
No. So I'm going to draw a dashed line because I am not allowed to be on that line. So I can go close to that line, but I can't be up to that, on that line, okay? Okay. Now I have, let's talk about what this says in words. What is this? Less than? Less than. Okay, here's my question. I'm going to put, this is you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a quarter on that side. And that side has a dice on it. Which side of the line would look like it's less than the line? The quarter. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put myself some little reminders that I have to be on that side of the line. Less than the line. Less than. Which direction starts angling downward? If you were to angle off the line, you would angle this way or this way off of it. Which way is a less than direction? Less.
Okay.
Less. Okay. Now this, I'm going to start with a y-intercept of 1. So I'm going to draw that, 1. And my slope is -2, but I need a fraction, so then I'm going to go -2 over 1. So I'm going to go down to right 1. And it's going to be a line, but I'm not going to draw it quite yet. I'm going to think about this before I do.
Actually, on the top one, why did you repeat the...
I can go as many times as I want, but technically you only need 2 points and you're good to draw it, right? Okay. Looking at this symbol, am I allowed to be equal to this line? Yep. So now I'm going to draw it as a solid line. So you have 2 options. You can have a dashed line or a solid line, all depending if you're equal to it. Okay, ready? I'm going to give you my 2 objects here. Okay, so I could either be on one of those sides of the line, the dice side or the quarter side. So the symbol says greater than or equal to it. So which object would be on the side that looks greater than the line? The dice. So I want to be on that side. Okay, so I'm going to shade the region that works. So where am I if it has to work for both things? Anything in there. Because I have to be below this line and above that line. I have to be both. I have to fit both molds.
Then isn't the other side scratched out too?
This is the thing that works. This is the solution.
Oh.
There's a million points that will work. And okay, so what does this mean? It means anything that I shaded in is a solution. Can anybody think of a random point that I shaded?
4, 4.
4, 4 is a solution. So 4, 4 should work. Ready? Plug it in. Is the y value 4 less than x4 plus 5? Is 4 less than 9?
Yes.
Yes. Is 4 greater than or equal to negative 2 times 4 plus 1? Yes. Okay, tell me a coordinate. Give me a coordinate that isn't a solution.
1,
What's that? 1, 20? Is that what you said? Sorry. Negative 5? Negative 5, comma. 1 negative 5?
1 negative 5.
Okay, 1 negative 5 is right here. It's not a solution. Okay, ready? Plugging it in. Is negative 5 less than 1 plus 5? Yes. Is negative 5 greater than or equal to 2 times negative 1 plus 1? No. So therefore, that coordinate didn't work for both of them. They have to work for both of them. Okay, last example. So do you notice that this doesn't have y's and x's in it? So
Go anything?
here's your two options. You did this in grade 10. Is this going to create a vertical or a horizontal line? Vertical. So I'm going to go to an x value of negative 5. And I'm going to draw a vertical line. What kind of line do you want to be? So look at this. Dashed or solid? Solid. I'm going to go pretty far here. I'm going to extend my line pretty big.
Actually, I think I need a re-explanation of when you write it as dashed or when you write it as solid.
This one is going to be dashed because I'm not allowed to be equal to it. This one's going to be solid because I am allowed to be equal to it. Yeah. Okay. Do we understand if you saw something like this?
That'd be just
How would you graph this line? Y equals 3.
yeah.
This line represents y equals 3. Why? Because look at every single point on that line has a y value of 3. On my line here, every single point on this line anywhere has an x value of negative 5. Okay, here's your two options. Which side do you want to be on?
The right side.
Greater than side is on the dice side. Greater x value's got to be greater than that. Okay, the second. So I have a problem here. I really want it in this form. I want it in that form and it's not there. So, does this make sense? I'm going to go with some algebra stuff, and my goal is to do what with algebra? Isolate the y. Okay, so here we go. 3y is greater than, I'm going to move. I'm going to move the x part, I'm going to move the number part. So how does it look when you move it across? 2x plus 9 I changed the signs of that, right? When you move something.
Move the 3y to the
Because I didn't move it. It was on the left side and it's still on the left side, right? Now what? Divide by 3. Do you know that I'm going to have to divide everything though by 3? So it's going to look like y is greater than 2/3 x plus 3.
So that means it's third at 3 and then we go to
Okay, so I'm ready to graph it now. So I'm going to start at a y-intercept of 3. I'm going to go up to right 3. Okay, I'm going to, before I draw my line, I'm going to analyze. What do you think, dashed or solid? Dashed. You are not allowed to be equal to that line. Okay, there's my 2 options on directions. The dice direction or the quarter direction? Which side angles greater than, bigger? The dice side is heading upward. Okay, but we're not done. We have another line yet before we shade. Okay. Algebra. So I'm going to go negative 2y less than or equal to. I'm going to move the x stuff to the right side. I'm going to move the number to the right side. Okay. Now, how do I get the y alone here?
be divided by -2.
Okay, something is crazy is going to happen here. In math, there's a rule. If you ever have to divide or multiply by a negative number, that happens. It makes my sign flip-flop. We didn't have to last time because what were we doing? We divided by a positive 3. Didn't have to worry. But okay, well, let's just think of something here. So if I had like this, to solve it, I'd have to divide by -1, right? And I'd be switching the sign. Can you think of a x value that would work there? Like, give me something that works. No, -9 wouldn't, because the negative of -9 is +9. So -9 didn't work. What would work?
Wouldn't it work? Why wouldn't it work?
Well, what's the negative of -9?
Well, 9 is still less than 10.
Oh, yeah, that does. Sorry. My bad. I'm thinking if you had given me, let's go with a -12. Does that one work? That's the one I'm thinking of. That one wouldn't work, right? Because then that becomes +12, da-da-da. So if I'm solving this and I divide by -1, x has to be greater than -9. Does that make sense?
You want to be -10?
Wouldn't it be negative?
Oh my goodness, what am I doing?
the 9 from.
I'm thinking of like so many things in my head that I can't even think of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably just confused you even more. Awesome.
Good. I'm not gonna lie, that is very possible. Honestly, not gonna lie.
Okay, this is all we need to know. If there's been a division by negative, it flip-flops my sign.
What about multiply?
Or multiply by negative, yeah. But to get y alone, you're going to be dividing. Okay, so y is alone. What's my slope number?
-2
Negative 2x
Plus three.
plus 3. Okay, so there's a 100% chance on the test that I will have to put one of those on there. Okay. So same y-intercept actually, right? The other one was at 3. Now I'm going to go down to right 1. What do you want to do? A solid, dashed, solid. So that's the situation. And I'm allowed to be on the side that is greater. So which dice or quarter? Dice side is greater? Okay. Where am I going to shade that fits the criteria for all 3 things?
That small little triangle on the top left side. Why are you shading in all of that?
Because any coordinate in this zone would work.
Does that mean we have to do that?
Yeah. I have to be to the right of that, I have to be above that, I have to be
What if
above
my
that.
arrows didn't go that far? Then do I?
I like your lines themselves,
Yeah.
you should extend them. That's why I remember when I drew this, I was like, I'm extending it a lot because I knew.
Is there a certain like point where it is a viable place to stop?
Yeah. So I would show you an example that wouldn't be good.
I don't want to go on forever.
Like if you drew me something like that, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I need you to extend the lines so that you can shade right up to the intersection.
But like if we're on the page itself, like going up, is there a certain, like why does it need to be up so much? Like I understand that it's showing it. but,
Okay. So if I had drawn it like this, okay, so if I had drawn it like this, and then I didn't extend this, and then I shaded that.
Sorry, that's not what I'm asking.
No, that's not what you're asking? Yeah, so like on this person's drawing though, this is a common mistake.
Right.
This person didn't extend their line long enough that, oh, look, that was, shouldn't have been shaded anything past that.
Right. I'm just.
Okay, okay, say it again, I have to think about it.
So why does it need to go all up here? Like, is that necessary? Why can we not just keep it in the